We are floating on a tiny speck of dust, suspended in the vast silence of the universe. And yet, from that dust, forged in the hearts of stars, came life. And from life, came us. Humans, the storytellers, the dreamers, the only species that looks up at the stars and wonders where we came from. But how did Stardust become people? How did chaos give rise to consciousness? From primitive cells to civilizations. From stone tools to spaceflight, this is the epic tale of our origins. Join me now, as we travel through deep time, to uncover the story of how we became human. Deep within the dense forests of Africa, a turning point unfolded. A small primate species took its first uncertain steps on two legs. But this wasn't just a physical step. It was a leap in thought. When one hand picked up a stone and chipped it into a tool. It wasn't merely for survival. It was a message, the first tweet in the language of civilization. That simple strike marked the dawn of intelligence, the spark of something profoundly human. From that first crude tool, we began to leave our mark, not just on the land, but in meaning. And this was only the beginning. Over 1 million years ago, an ancient human species called Homo erectus made the first bold attempt to leave Africa. They had no fire, no language as we know it, but they had tools, upright posture, and a spark of curiosity that pushed them beyond the forests of their origin. They wandered through dense jungles, across vast plains and deserts, searching for new lands. It was humanity's first great migration, but it didn't last. Harsh climates, limited adaptability, and the raw power of nature brought that journey to a halt. It wasn't until around 50,000 years ago that a new kind of human, smaller, more adaptable, made the same journey. This time, they crossed the Sinai, and they never turned back. That was the moment the true human story began to unfold across continents, oceans, and time itself. Fire, the first sacred gift our ancestors mastered. It lit the cold nights, kept the wild beasts at bay, and brought warmth to a dangerous world. But fire was more than survival, it was the first light of the human mind. Around the flames, we began to whisper, then to speak. Words rose from fire, born from the need to share, to warn, to remember. And then, one hand reached out and painted a deer, a handprint, a symbol on the stone. For the first time, humanity signed its name into time. It wasn't just art, it was a declaration. We were here, and we have a story to tell. In March 2025, a groundbreaking discovery in Africa stunned the scientific world, a tiny fossil. Barely a meter tall, but standing upright like us. A long-lost relative of humanity. Previously unknown. This small, delicate skeleton, buried beneath red earth for millions of years, has become a brand new piece in the puzzle of evolution. Just when we thought we understood our origins, the story is rewritten once again. When the first grain sprouted, a quiet revolution began. It wasn't just about food, it was the birth of a new kind of thinking. The human mind began to bloom with ideas, villages, where people gathered around fields and harvests. From crops came surplus, from surplus came trade, and with trade emerged the ideas of ownership, power, and class. But with abundance also came tension. For the first time, humans weren't just battling nature, they began to clash with each other. Agriculture didn't just feed us, it transformed how we lived, how we thought, and what we would become. The Epic of Gilgamesh, often called the oldest story ever told, is known for its gods, monsters, and quests for immortality. But what many don't realize is that alongside the heroics, it also includes something far more human, the first known beer receipt. Yes, when writing was invented, love poems came later. What came first? Debt records, grain inventories, and bar tabs. In the age of city-states, we didn't just build walls and temples, we built systems, governments, laws, ledgers. Because from the moment we began to write, humanity gained something priceless, memory that could outlive the mind. For thousands of years, empire rose, shining like the morning sun, only to fall like sandcastles in the tide. But they didn't vanish. Each time they crumbled, they were reborn, not through war or conquest, but on the wooden wheels of merchant carts crossing the desert in silence. The Silk Road wasn't just a trade route, it was a lifeline. A neural network stretching across continents. Along its dusty paths and winding seas moved not only silk and spices, but language, religion, disease, invention, and the ideas that would one day reshape the world. No map in history connected more civilizations. Every step of a merchant was a line of code in humanity's growing operating system, from Rome to Chang'an, across Central Asia, and into the harbors of the Indian Ocean. When steam began to scream through pistons and gears, humanity broke free from the limits of muscle. Power no longer came from hands, it came from machines. Every steamship that cut across the seas was a dream, supercharged and set in motion, faster, farther, bigger than ever before. We wove cloth at lightning speed, lit up the night with electricity, and connected continents through wires and telegraphs. But the factory bell rang for more than just shift changes, it rang out the growing divide between city and countryside, rich and poor, owner and worker. The Industrial Revolution wasn't just about engines, it was a seismic shift in how society worked, lived, and dreamed, and the world would never be the same again. In less than a century, we've gone from tuning into crackling radios to carrying the entire library of Alexandria in our pockets. What was once the greatest storehouse of human knowledge, lost to fire and time, now sits in your palm, alongside cat videos, online classes, ancient texts, and your friend's lunch photo from across the world. We can live stream our breakfast to millions, swipe through entire cultures in seconds, and ask a machine to finish our sentences. The digital age didn't just make us faster, it rewired how we think, how we connect, how we are. We stopped needing to remember, because the cloud remembers for us. We stopped asking neighbors, and started asking search bars. We don't wait in line, we scroll, we tap, we stream, and through it all, one question quietly echoes beneath the code and convenience. In a world where everything is online, where even our memories are outsourced, do we still truly know ourselves? Or are we just learning how to ask better questions? In 2025, a breakthrough DNA study turned old assumptions upside down. Homo sapiens, us, weren't the product of a single evolutionary line. Instead, we're the result of a surprising reunion between two ancient human branches that split long ago and came back together around 300,000 years ago. Evolution, it turns out, isn't a straight line, it's a genetic remix. And modern humans, we're the latest version, shaped by countless ancient code mergers. In 2025, scientists announced a stunning discovery, a 1.4 million year old jawbone found in South Africa. It didn't belong to Homo sapiens, or even Homo erectus, but to a long lost cousin, Paranthropus. Each fossil like this adds another question mark. Where do we really come from, and how many relatives have we missed along the way? Human history isn't over, it's still being written. But now, not with fire or stone. It's written with your keyboard. We, the greatest storytellers on earth, are stepping into a new chapter. One where every word, every choice, every action leaves a mark. Will the next chapter be a sustainable age, where we live in harmony with nature, with technology, and with each other? Or will it be the final chapter, closed by the very systems we built but couldn't control? The future isn't written yet. It's waiting for your voice. So tell the story you want to live, and live it fully.